Hello, we're pulled apart by horses, and you're watching Soundsphere TV.
This is Dom Smith for Soundsphere TV. I am with Pulled Apart by Horses. Guys, from this way, can you introduce yourselves and tell me your roles in the band?
I'm James, I'm a guitarist.
I'm Tom, and I'm a guitarist and singer.
And I'm Lee, and I play drums.
You know, how important is it for you guys, obviously with the reputation that you have, to come to places like Hull that don't necessarily get sort of mentioned or really pushed on the touring circuit for bands the level of yourselves?
Really important, I think. It's that thing where there's the kind of, you know, the main gig circuit in England, the bigger cities like the Londons and the Manchesters and etc. And there's smaller places like Hull and
Hartlepool.
They're places that are just as passionate about music. Do you know what I mean? Like they need gigs just as much and need more support, if anything.
They do get a lot more excited when you come come to these little towns and stuff. They're also a little bit more crazy as well. Well, a lot more crazy.
But not necessarily in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way.
I think it's just like really important for kind of helping like local scenes flourish as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it takes kind of bands to come and generate a bit of excitement for people to want to do it themselves and kind of, you know, remember why they do it in the first place. Because, you know, we've all kind of come from little towns and villages where, you know, there's no gigs and it's really hard to do anything, so you have to kind of like make your own scene.
Yeah.
And I think when bands come through, it's kind of people can be reminded of that.
Talking about outside of music, whether it's like literature or films, is there anything that, you know, inspires you guys and keeps you motivated?
We kind of draw a lot from everything around us, really. I mean, we're all big film geeks, so that kind of spills into stuff, especially with the lyrics and stuff. Like some of it comes from like awful B movies that I watch and like Italian horror films, and then we've got one song called Hot Squash that Lee kind of like wrote the lyrics for, and it's inspired by the film The Master.
Yeah, and I'm a massive Paul Thomas Anderson fan. And it was when we were demoing like the songs for this album, I just watched that and was just blown away by it. And it kind of, I just wrote a few lines I think, and that's kind of like inspired Tom to kind of write the rest of the lyrics.
What can you tell us about the new record and what's happening?
There's a lot going on in it actually. It's kind of, well, we wrote loads of stuff for it and we've kind of been whittling it down bit by bit, like being pretty hard on ourselves as well. But there's quite a big mix, isn't there, really? It's like, there's a sleazy sort of desert rocky, you know, Queensy sort of vibe to some of the tracks, and then some of the other tracks are like more sort of like roughed up, punky, grungy sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a
better word.
There's a lot of variation in it, and I think just because we kind of took so much time out to write it, I think it definitely shows. But it's the happiest I've ever been with a record we made, definitely. Like
nothing's been.
Tom and Rob have kind of vocally sort of stepped up as well as like vocal harmonies and sung melodies and stuff, which is like something we haven't really played around with before. But it's still like rock.
It's still my horrible voice. So it's like, you know, it's not like, hey! It's still like...
It's exactly what it sounds like.
But one of the things with this record is we like kind of chose to spend a lot more time writing and recording. And like with the other records as well, especially the second one, we were kind of writing when we weren't touring. Whereas this time, we just stopped touring and like had a solid year of writing.
And is there a track particularly that you've got that is really, you feel like defines where the band is at right now, a particular...
Probably Hot Squash.
And Grim Deal, I think.
Yeah, I mean in the sense of, there's one called Grim Deal, which is, we've done a lot more kind of mid-paced, kind of grinding, kind of, not grinding in a sexy way, although they are very sexy. But you know, kind of, we've never really done mid-paced songs before, so we kind of been playing with songs like that a little bit more.
Yeah, getting a bit more
reserve, I think, not kind of like...
Here he is!
Right.
Come in! It's Rob!
Come in! Carry on without me! We thought you were in the bass.
I don't really have anything to contribute.
Come and join in on the side.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, so bringing you into it, mate, we were talking about a track that you feel like you're particularly proud of from the new stuff? Is there anything? We've had a couple mentioned. Grim Deal came up.
Yeah, Grim Deal probably. Yeah.
That was the first one we wrote where it kind of like, we didn't even know what had happened. Like we kind of listened back to it and we're like, whoa, what's this? Like it kind of happened without us even really knowing what was going on.
It's always good when something just happens subconsciously and you've not planned it. So
and then that kind of like sort of set a bit of a tone for like the rest of the stuff really.
But like the single Hot Squash made sense to be a first single because it's kind of like the connection from the last album into what we've done on this record. It's like it's still got the kind of heavy sort of riffing, but there's also like vocal kind of harmony and stuff, and it's like a kind of, it's like almost an example of what's to come on the record, on the new record.
Do you feel like you've had the chance to change and develop as people and as musicians through that time that you took off? How do you feel like you've changed?
I think I'm a much better person.
I think we totally fucking lost that.
Yes, Rob! No, he is.
I think it was just like with any band, it's you know, when you kind of spend a few years in close quarters with everybody, and it's just this like touring's a really intense thing to do, and it just kind of like sends everybody a bit insane. So sometimes you just need to back off and kind of regroup, and I think it means that now we're fresh and kind of completely like back in the mindset of going out and kind of.
But equally, it has been really tough, really fucking hard not touring. We're
total gig whores. So it's just been like having withdrawal symptoms from not playing. I'd go and see a band live.
Yeah, it would be horrible going to watch bands because you're just like, fuck, why are we not doing that?
It's weird because we're like an odd combination of we love being on tour and being away and travelling around and playing gigs, but we're also total homebodies, all of us as well. Homeboys, yeah.
Cool. Well, I did read an interview with you guys that you'd had some kind of collaborations or dream collaborations that you'd like to do. Are there any on this record? And if not, are there anybody you'd like to collaborate with? Maybe some hip hop artists. We were talking about hip hop.
There was talk about doing that, wasn't there? But
we were gonna, it never kind of came. Nothing became obvious. Like there was. A couple of names floated around, but it never happened. But I mean, we're always up for things like that. It will definitely happen in the future.
Yeah, I'd still like to do something like that. I think it's really cool. Like, just kind of mixes it up a bit. Yeah. We were talking for a bit about getting Mark Arm from Mudhoney to
that would have been great. Yeah. But instead we ended up with Mark Armley and Kirkstall Cobain. Just local Leeds lads.
Kirkstall Cobain.
Bob Morley was on there as well.
Cool, that's one hell of a guest list.
Chris Novosel.
Tom York.
Adel.
Tom Yorkshire.
She was
That's
great.
amazing, that Adel.
Last question is a pretty obvious one. Obviously you got some festivals.
No, actually.
Where'd you get your band name from?
No, actually the collaboration we would like to do is probably Danny Brown.
Oh yeah, with Danny Brown. Definitely, we'll have him sing on the song.
Let's see, cool, well fingers crossed, absolutely. Cool, what's the plan for the rest of the year then guys? You've got some festival appearances coming up. What are you thinking about after summer as well? What's the score? What can you tell us what you'll be getting up to?
Well, we've got main stage Leeds and Reading Festival this year, and we're kind of playing it quiet on the UK festival circuit.
We're going to do a few kind of tiny Euro ones.
Yeah.
But then after the record comes out, I'd imagine there'll be another tour, UK tour, and a bigger tour in Alps.
Summer.
So, but your guess is as good as ours at the moment.
Yeah.